everybody.
Hey,
This is Glenda and
Joe.
with Fralins and Friends.
Shaking hands art.
Yes, we do have that, but not today. Not today. We did finish the railroad bridge, and I really enjoyed your comments on it. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and look. Anyway, today's topic is feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and letting it stop you or finding a solution. So that is what we're going to discuss. Joe was going through my bank statement. You want to tell me what happened?
Well, whenever I have her printed off and I figure her checkbook for her. And if there's something unusual, I ask her about it. Do you know what this is? Or do you know what that is? To try and figure out what it is, see if it's a scam or if it's, something she ordered. I don't know. So she was checking on it. Finally, after I was done figuring the checkbook, I said, "We'll just keep an eye on it." She finally figured out what it was and got that settled.
It was something that we use all the time. It was a service that protects our online
Computer
yeah. And
takes out some of them ads.
yes, it was ad block, but it was using a different
Name.
pay system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was using a new pay system called Paddle, and we had no idea what that was. So I was shaking like a leaf, wondering if we got scammed a few months ago, really bad.
Back in August.
Yeah, and so we get a little, but we found it, and it was perfectly legit. So
Something she ordered.
yeah. Well, it was it was a year's subscription instead of a monthly. So anyway.
That's one of the things I always like to know, is it annual or is it a monthly thing? 'Cause
Right. Well, 'cause
that can get to be kind of expensive if it's monthly.
Yep. And the day before, what was it that got me? Oh, I like every once in a while, I do check analytics, and I'll go and check for any lost comments. There's a section for that. And that haven't been answered, and so I go and I do that first, and there were a few, and then I check the analytics, and I just was not figuring out why our watch time was sliding slightly backward all the time. And I thought, this don't make sense. They just increased our shorts time to 3 minutes. And so I would go to the earnings, and a lot of times, it shows you where you're at, but in fact, that's where I saw but it had a statement there that I had never noticed before. It said valid watch hours. So I went to Google, because Google is, and YouTube are kind of like the same thing. And I said, why is YouTube, what do they mean by valid watch hours? They do not count shorts as watch hours for someone like me. If somebody's doing strictly shorts, you have to have 1 million shorts a year. And that's not me, because I can't dance and I can't sing. And I'm not like a star or a celebrity. But anyway, so we have come up with a different solution, and that is to make 5 minute or less, and have them be regular videos a couple times a week, instead of doing the shorts up there that won't give us anything a couple times a week. It gives a bit of a change, but I can still have the rest of the time to work on painting requests, and I still have the big thing I want to do. But yeah, and the thing of it is, I was feeling overwhelmed. I'll admit that. I was feeling very overwhelmed, because it was like, I've been doing all this for all this time, And Joe's been working hard to get me these little shorts. And they haven't done anything for us. And so I thought, okay, well, Joe gave me a full good 4 minutes and something. And so I talked to Maddie, and I said, well, I sent him several emails that probably confused the heck out of him, poor guy. But when I was figuring this out little by little, I was like sending him an email every time. Finally, I said, let's use this one. I made a new one. The whole thing that Joe did, I cut out anything that didn't look or sound right, and you edit, but I didn't have to edit it down to where it was 3 minutes and cut out his whole start and all of that. So, and that worked out much better, and that should be up today. Should have been up yesterday on Sunday. Yeah, you can get frustrated. Everybody goes through times when they're frustrated. And everybody goes through times when you are just like, your mind is blown. What is going on in my life or in our money or whatever? So you get your little shaking out, and then you start digging. You become a little private investigator, and you go and find out what's going on. So that's kind of what we did. Joe he keeps track of the numbers because he is a numbers person, and he gets nervous. It bothers him when he can't figure something out. So, and it was on my account, so I went digging, and we finally found it. This neighbor man over here, he's got a garden, and he's out there, instead of using a hose, he's using a
Sprinkler can.
Yeah, like you'd use to water flowers. I'd use a hose. Maybe he probably just doesn't have one, or doesn't.
I think he's gonna plant some. He's got some strawberries. That's why he's got that kind of fence or gate hanging there.
Yeah.
He's gonna grow some strawberries. Either strawberries or raspberries. And then down at the end, he's got 15 potato plants.
That'll probably be good for a while.
And then he's got these 2 boxes. He saw it on the internet. They're like 3 foot by 3 foot boxes. And he's got like 9 plants in each one of them. And when they start growing, then he'll add another layer of dirt.
Now what's in those?
Potatoes.
Oh, more potatoes.
But when they start growing, they get above so high, then he'll add so much dirt in there.
Yeah.
And he'll add another box on top of it. And supposedly you're supposed to get a layer of potatoes in each layer of dirt. So he's going to try it.
Well, why not? I mean, potatoes, they grow under the dirt, so.
Yeah.
And one potato plant can put on a lot of potatoes.
But you showed me that on the internet.
Yeah, I did, but it was
with buckets.
Yeah, the one bucket you cut slits or slots in the side, remember, and then you put it inside of another one.
Yeah.
So that it has some drainage. But
this is kind of the same concept, only it's a big wooden box. He had some scrap lumber sitting around.
Kind of a crate.
Yeah. Like 3 foot by 3 foot, and then.
That sounds interesting.
He'll add dirt, or he'll add another board and put some more dirt in it. Something. It's layered somehow.
By the way, this week, my other request was for a house. And what I'm going to try to do, I can't guarantee it, but I'm going to try to find a photo of the house that we grew up in, not the Miller homestead that we call it, or I call it, but what we called the Frost place, because that was a big old Victorian. It was, I mean, it was built much. They finally ended up having to tear it down. It had a wood furnace in it for the longest time. The second floor was only heated with like a gas heating stove. And the first floor was with the wood furnace. But that got to be, it just got to be terrible because anyway.
We only had cold water and we didn't have a bathtub.
No, you didn't.
We had to boil water and put it in one of them metal tubs for a bathtub and take a bath in the kitchen.
Yeah, they were really in.
Yeah, we had an outside toilet.
We had an outside toilet, but we only had to use it if the sewage system got full. Until that get cleared out. But
Yeah, we was pretty poor when I grew up.
yeah, but that's no longer the case.
No.
No longer the case. We had friends from our church that had some of the places they lived. One place they lived had that. But and you. Well, that was after your folks divorced, right?
What's that?
The one, that house that your mom cleaned out and had a cat go in there and clean out all the rats. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was after my parents. Well, that's the house I lived in when my parents got a divorce.
Oh, okay. His dad had a filling station up in Cortland for a while, in another city, another town, not
Seward.
city. Seward.
Seward and Beatrice.
Oh, well, what was in Cortland then?
That's where we lived.
Oh,
For a while when I was little, we had a bigger house there.
He had filling stations.
No, he drove truck then. He went from driving truck to filling station back to driving truck. That's all he ever did.
I'm confused as to timelines, but if I were to try to do everything on a timeline with him, he'd be
We
just
lived in
as confused.
Cortland, that's when I drank the turpentine, and I run
Oh,
down.
I know
And I walked
that.
I walked downtown with my diaper and cowboy hat and my gun, down to the
He-
post office.
This guy is, it's amazing that he's alive.
I crossed the highway.
Yeah, a major one. But, yeah. His dad was painting the house, and he left, he just poured some turpentine in an old pop bottle, didn't think anything of it.
He went in-
And,
He went in and used the phone, and got he was driving a truck then, so whenever he got a call to haul a load or something, he jumped on it, because that was money, because he was leasing.
your mom must have told you that because you were 2 years old.
But he was leasing the truck, so a truck sitting by is just costing you money, so
Yeah.
it's better off it's on the road. But he went in the house, and of course I saw that pop bottle, and I thought it was pop, so I drank some.
His mom said, if you ever heard the expression, blue is a
Blue as denim, limp as a rag.
limp is a limp as a dish rag.
Yeah.
She said that was him exactly. They didn't think they rushed him to the hospital and they saved him. She said it's amazing that
She dumped an egg down my throat.
and made you
Well, the doctor said he's glad that she did that because it stopped my esophagus from getting burnt.
yeah. But did it make you bring it back up?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they told my stomach.
And another time he had on nothing but his diaper, a cowboy hat, and some toy six guns.
Yeah, just a toy circus, yeah.
He crossed Highway 77 and they found him at the post office?
Yeah.
And they called his mom.
I don't know how I got away from her, but I did, or what she was doing. But
Kids can though. You just turn your eyes for a second. Man.
I was only a couple years old then.
It was a good thing. God's been looking after this guy for a long time.
But the time I drank turpentine and the time that I had my shoulder repaired is the only 2 times I've ever been in a hospital.
Oh, yeah, when you had your shoulder repair. But what,
I was only in the hospital for that.
And then you got,
that day.
when you were in school, you got scarlatina, or mumps,
Well, I had
measles,
scarlatina, measles, mumps, chickenpox.
all at one time.
Well,
All within a short
one
time.
right after another.
Yeah. And he slept, rheumatic fever.
Rheumatic fever.
He slept for 3 days with rheumatic fever.
Yeah.
They still, the dentist won't do any work on his teeth unless they give him a
The pre-treatment.
pre-treatment of antibiotic. And praise God, this man's still here.
Yeah.
And he's 68, will be 69 in October.
Yep.
We love you.
See ya.
You take care.
Thanks for your support.
Say a prayer of praise that I still got this man. That I even got him at all. Because he almost didn't grow up. But God will intervene. I will talk to you tomorrow about something. I'll be starting to work on that house, I hope. Oh, there was a breeze. Good night.